I don't consider myself someone who leans heavily left or right. I've voted, I have opinions, and like most people, those opinions have changed over time. What I do know is this: something about the current media landscape doesn't feel right anymore, and I don't think I'm alone in feeling that way. On one hand, I understand why so many people have lost trust in mainstream media. There's a growing sense that coverage can feel selective, narratives can feel framed, and storytelling often seems driven as much by ratings and profit as by truth. Whether that perception is always fair or not, it exists, and it's widespread. You see it reflected in the rise of independent outlets, podcasts, YouTube journalists, and voices outside the traditional system. People are searching for something they feel is more authentic. At the same time, there's another side of this that makes me pause. Take the situation with CBS News and 60 Minutes. When you look at the Trump lawsuit over the Kamala Harris interview, it's easy to understand why it happened. If you already believe the media has bias, and then you see an edited interview where a politician appears more polished than expected, it raises questions. That reaction is human. It's rooted in skepticism that has been building for years. But when you step back and look at the details, the issue becomes more complicated. Editing interviews is not unusual, it's necessary. Anyone who speaks publicly, especially someone known for long or complicated answers, will get edited for clarity and time. That's how television works. The real question isn't whether editing happened, it's whether it misled the audience. And that's where I find myself in the middle. Because if the editing didn't actually change the meaning of what was said, then it starts to feel like this wasn't really about truth. It was about perception. Which brings us to what happened next. CBS settling the lawsuit for millions of dollars. That's the moment where things stopped making sense. If you believe you did nothing wrong, why pay? And if you pay, what message does that send? To some, it looks like accountability. To others, it looks like pressure, corporate, political, or both. Either way, it doesn't build trust. It erodes it further. And this is where the bigger issue becomes clear. What we're watching isn't just a disagreement over a single interview. It's a broader fight over narrative. It feels like traditional media, independent voices, political figures, and corporate interests are all pushing and pulling at the same thing: influence over how events are interpreted. From the outside, it looks like a left versus right battle, but I don't think that's the full picture. It's more like a system undergoing a shift from centralized control of information to a fragmented, competitive environment where no single source holds authority anymore. And in that environment, everyone is trying to define what is true. The problem is, when everything starts to feel like a narrative fight, people stop trusting all of it, not just one side or the other, everything. That's where I think many of us are right now, not blindly trusting the old system, but also not fully convinced that what's replacing it is better. So where does that leave someone in the middle? For me, it means resisting the urge to pick a team. It means being willing to say, yes, the media has flaws, but that doesn't mean every accusation is valid. It means recognizing that editing can be normal while still questioning how choices are made. And it means understanding that just because something challenges the establishment doesn't automatically make it right. Most importantly, it means focusing less on who is winning the narrative and more on whether the result brings us closer to truth or further away from it. Because at the end of the day, that's what this should be about, not left or right, not mainstream or independent, just whether what we're being told actually helps us understand reality or distorts it even more.